Probably.
Kitten, it's not gonna.
Yeah. You guys are killing me, Smalls. Killing me. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
We are live here at the central location for herding the mentally insane cats of the West Coast. With the exception of at least one of us that is hiding out, I think, somewhere in the Midwest. But other than that, hey, we all try to be here reasonably calm, insane, and insane and calm.
I was going to say, wait, you're sane. Yeah,
I'm calm. I'm very calm.
Hey, everybody, happy Monday, and welcome to FaeRun Reborn, where tonight should be an interesting night, to say the least. We took last week off as we had chores to do and things to do that had arisen, however you pronounce it.
I think it's arose.
You're making rice and what?
So, before I think Bluff just melted.
I think he did melt.
His spine is actually now broken. No.
Dropped a D20. I had to find it. That's how the night's starting off. I tried to roll one in preparation, and it just like literally bounced boink out of the box and then under all the tables.
Psychological. I think we call that
llama dice.
Psychological damage. Hey, Destroy, thank you so much for the follow. We appreciate it.
Yay,
that's me.
Hey.
Oh, it's Derek.
That's me.
Derek, thank you for finally following your
us
own
after
channel.
playing for a year. Year and a half.
I get around to it.
So it's appropriate.
Hey, everyone. So everything you need to know about us is below. The about our family of creators and all the fun things that we do here at TTRPG Academy. If you feel so inclined to spend some of Jeff Bezos' money, don't forget you can use your free Prime subscription to subscribe to our show. Feel free to do that if you wish, or just follow. If you want to learn more, play more, see what's going on in this crazy, wacky gaming world of ours, join our Discord, where you can teach, learn, play, everything TTRPG. So click below, click the links, come say hello. We got some really fun stuff coming up for the month of July, so definitely want to follow us if you're watching. Excuse me. I did take a nap, so I'm a little bit snuffly. I do apologize for that. So before we get going, or before we start our recap, Cesare, what projects do you've got going on these days? Of course, you're muted.
So,
oh, there you are.
Yeah. I was trying to get my little mic transmitter.
Were you trying to get
out of my pocket?
Were you trying to get your little thing out of your pocket?
Yeah. Isn't it cute? So
It's adorable.
The Rode Wireless go-to, you guys, if you are a content creator and need a nice little wireless lab system. Just saying, it's really great.
I'm a fan.
It's plugged into my computer right now. It's a sound card. It's amazing. Projects I'm working on. One is my bus conversion, a mobile production studio converted from a 6-window short school bus, is the main project I'm working on, and that's going to be the thing that I'll actually be streaming out of when we have our shows. Once it's done, I'm going to be taking that thing on the road, and we're going to be doing our podcast live from everywhere. And speaking of podcasts, one of those big ones that we're doing, aside from the 2 games that I play in here, is one called The General Adventuring Company. It is found at TGAC Pod, P-O-D. So that info is down below. And I play a level 3, level 1 Ranger Rogue multi-class Dragonborn, and it's a lot of fun. You should check it out. The General Adventuring Company.
Posted a link in the chat, so feel free to click on that to find their Facebook link, which will take you to everything else related to them,
Yeah.
including all their
I
streaming and
followed you on
all that.
Facebook.
And I believe your core delivery is on YouTube, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
Tuesdays. We release new videos on Tuesdays. We're taking this Tuesday off because I was gone for like 4 days and we haven't had a chance to edit it. So
Yeah.
it's in the works. But it's one of those things when you're starting up projects and podcasts, man. Everything's at the whim of the incredible volunteers that are making this stuff happen.
Absolutely. With that, Kai, why don't you go ahead and tell us about some of your projects you got going on?
I am Just Jen on Twitter, and I follow tons of podcasts and help promote and support a bunch of them. I am also working with, I think Nari might be listening right now. Hi, Nari. With Nari from Into the Night podcast on one of our own homebrews called A Seat at the Table. So that should be dropping this fall sometime. Keep an eye out for it. I'll definitely be posting it everywhere.
And I do have some panel updates I'll be doing this week. I still have to put Kai's up there, and a couple other of our family of creators. I haven't had a chance to do that, but I will hopefully get that caught up this week. Gulshaw, what do you have going on these days?
I got a shop on Redbubble. It's called Dark Ones Designs, and it's an original a game-inspired artwork, and you can get stickers and T-shirts or whatever else you want on there.
That is the face of enthusiasm, folks. The absolute perfect face
Hey man,
of
I'm not a
enthusiasm.
pressure salesman.
Like you could check it out if you
You
want.
can check it out if you want.
If you don't
Nah,
want to, like I
cool,
get
man.
it.
Get it.
Go check them out. Did you make the one
man,
Death
good.
Feels Like a Cold Hug?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be
Yeah, I did.
ordering that.
That's
I think I'm actually going to order that
Cool.
as stickers tomorrow. I want some stickers that say that. I think that'll be perfect.
Yeah, that was a fun one to do.
I want one. Order one for me.
Sure, right away, dear. First thing,
No,
dear.
I mean, oh my gosh.
See, it's the raised eyebrow that's just so much fun. If people only knew how many years it took for you to perfect that.
Well, no, I've been doing it since I was a baby.
Oh, since you a bebe.
Bebe.
Bebe. So let's
Bebe.
talk about where we last left off, bring everybody up to speed. As quite a few things have transpired, the team has finally made its way out of Whist. They've been traveling with Lord Silverhand's caravan in an effort to make it to the Chasm Bridge, celebrate the opening, and support whatever efforts are going on there. Along the journey, they came across some of those peculiar portals. They also made their way to a stopping point, Woolsville, on the way out towards the Chasm, meeting up with a very interesting regent in charge of Woolsville. But once there, Gulshaw had gained his family inheritance, a particular carpet that is capable of flying. This was gifted to him by his aunt and uncle, who had determined that after delivering their requirements to the Chasm, that Gulshaw's family tribe will be returning back to the Chultian desert, where they will stay there for another season before returning back to the Chimera Mercantile and beginning their typical caravan routes and exchange and delivery of items. Team then made their final leg of the journey to the Chasm. It was during this final journey to the Chasm that they'd come across something very peculiar. A slice of something, an entity of something, a undead or mystical form of something that, well, best described as quite terrifying, capable of sucking the very life out of the area around it. And it bared a stark resemblance to Lord Silverhand, although very disfigured and, well, not quite an exact copy, one could say, but more of a shard or a glimmer of what one possibility of Silverhand is. As once again, we remind everybody that the current iteration of Lord Silverhand has only been made stable and useful to both Vert and Tamlin due to the intervention of Arena and Gulshaw. So who knows how many of these errant copies might be out there. Once you guys arrive to the Maw Chasm and run into some familiar friends, some tabaxi that are often seen trading with their tribe led by Frostfur. It was coming into this area of the Maw Chasm and into the construction site that the true size and nature of the effort to get across and reestablish this old point between the inner sections of the inner Midlands with the boundary kingdom of Whist and its new neighbors that's attempting to make connections with. Not only was the construction site busy with some interesting new individuals that had not been seen before, but the vastness of the refugee camp on the other side truly is quite overwhelming in size. Vast, stretching for miles in either direction, as you guys had arrived at night due to the fact that you were, well, tail end of night, the beginning of morning, as it was insisted upon that the caravan travel at night and sleep during the day. You had left first thing at the beginning of the evening from Woolsville and then arriving at the Maw Chasm. So seeing a massive extended horizon of campsites and campfires was quite overwhelming. After meeting up with the two tabaxis that did recognize everybody else, the caravan was displaced throughout the construction site. The tabaxi twins coming to, share some things about circumstances and happenings that have been going on. They had captured a wagon. They had interactions, or at least dealt with raiding parties that had been assaulting the area. And it was this wagon that we were having a conversation about that they were sharing with everybody as the very first crack of light the beginnings of dawn. All of you are huddled in this rather almost like site within a site where equipment and storage items are. Pavilions and tents are littered all about. This particular area of the construction site seems to be a place for those that reside at the construction site. The larger of the pavilions belonging to Lord Silverhand and his retinue. Other large tents that have been assigned to the rest of you. But where we last left off, you were all having a conversation about a wagon that was captured containing some interesting armaments, equipment. And that's where we last left off. What would you guys like to do?
Well, we were talking about those guns, and Arena really wanted two.
Is it still night or is it going into morning yet?
It's like that transition of first light of dawn, where it's just kind of the lights beginning to rise up. Most of the strange individuals coming and going have either changed shift or others are moving about and beginning their day's activity as the full kind of like sense of this busy location is beginning to wake up.
I'm kind of worried about that specter. I mean, there's no telling what kind of damage it can do on the road, especially since this place is about to become way more traveled.
True. Maybe we could shoot it with the guns.
The what?
I don't think that would work.
Oh. Well, the only way to know is to find out and try.
Well, I don't know why you call them guns. Have you seen and dealt with these
Pistols?
before? I mean,
Pistols?
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, what? What's going on here?
I have just recently been acquainting myself with them. Some of our Erakokan friends are familiar with them, and they have
There was that Buccaneer guy, Johannes. He had some like these, and he showed us some of these.
Johannes. I'm not familiar with Johannes. Buccaneer.
Yeah.
What is a buccaneer? These are new words, new things I've not heard before.
The Minotaur had the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Can I have one?
But I mean, feel free. I'm not really
Are
sure
there
how they work.
little tiny balls that, I mean, like
Oh, here we go down that pathway
Here
again, huh?
it goes.
Is both
little
That's
projectiles, little round. Are there like barrels of little round?
Give me
metal balls?
everybody give me a perception check to kind of get an idea for everything that you can see.
I got a 14.
3. I am
12.
not perceptive.
Gold shot got a
today.
15.
I got a 12.
25.
You have a 9, you roll a 5. Isn't that wonderful?
15.
15. I mean, as a group, you're beginning to take in this large wagon, and it's for most of you, it's very familiar looking, as it does kind of bear the resemblance of one of the slaver wagons that you remember from the campsite when you rescued the blacksmith closer towards Traverton. Very large, at least 2 rear axles, a front axle, a place where you could hook up beasts of burden for the purposes of towing it. There are many barrels of like a black powdery substance. There's at least 2 barrels filled with very small metal like pellets. There is there's at least 2 crates filled with the small version of what the Minotaur used. And there's at least 1 crate filled with very long, thin, almost, they look like very large pistols, but longer and thinner. The Tabaxi kind of describes them. The Erakokans called these small ones pistols. Evidently, you load them with powder and the metal pellet, and you are able to shoot the metal pellet through what they call the pistol. The longer ones they refer to as rifles. You watch as one of the Erakokans that was kind of off to the side kind of comes over, and he kind of ruffles his like upper shoulders and his huge Erakokan head, the feathers kind of ruffling slightly. The rifles are to be gentle. They are difficult to use, but I can show all of you how they work. I've been showing these 2 how the pistols and rifles work, but takes practice to learn how to use them. Me and my own use them very effectively at range. They seem to work well that way. And his like beak kind of stutters and twitches slightly. You can see lashed like across his leather jerkin, very strange looking individual. For those of you watching this individual, give me history checks really quick. See how much information you know about the Erakokans.
Got another 15.
I got a 25.
I got a
5.
natty 20.
5.
Yeah, mine's a natty 20 so 25 total.
18.
History 26.
Yeah.
For Valev, you're enamored. You've never seen anything like this before. These are
Pet the bird.
essentially
Pet the bird.
Then it-
humanoid-sized birds. For the rest of you, there's always
I
been...
want the staff pistol. I want the staff pistol. That was cool.
Fairy tales.
For the rest of you, there had always been an understanding of other kind of lineages and races of the greater, older area of the realm. I would say, Gulshaw, you've seen Arakokians before in your past, dealing with them as part of your normal caravan of trade through your family. Derek and Kai and Arena, you've never really had a specific interaction with one, but you've always been aware of their existence. It's unusual to see not only this one here seeming to be interacting with everyone, but for so many, there's so many of them. You remember coming through camp, they were involved in the taking over of some equipment and roping and kind of helping with the last bit of work that's being done to the Maw Chasm Bridge, the last bit of repair. Max, for you, there's a deep understanding of what these creatures are. Your sentient nature of your mask combined with your sentient kind of sentinel existence, it's almost as if you're aware of the presence of these things, almost as if you dealt with them before on many occasions, whether due to the relic nature of your mask or the sentient nature of the sentinel creature that you're adhered to. It's strange to see them, but you're familiar with them as well. Their capabilities, their humanoid body mixed with bird body and a kind of like eagle raptor like upper torso, wings, great wings on them. There are varieties of them. They don't all look the same. The handful that you've seen so far come in different shades of colors and appearances, but for the most part, they seem to be genuinely accepted. There are other individuals milling about that look unfamiliar as well as this conglomeration of different types of people and humanoids and other creatures kind of milling about this space. All seem to be very interested in this equipment. The Tabaxi, she looks from the Arakokian to the rest of you. Yes, well, you are free to take whatever you want. Technically, this is not of our possession. Phosphor did leave it to us to decide what to do with it.
Thank you. I'll run by and grab one of the rifles.
Okay, you grab one of the long rifles. The Arakokian kind of comes over. He introduces himself to you, Valev, as Raven, and
Robin.
he goes, please do be careful with that. It's not an easy item to use. I
pick it up and I start looking down the barrel. How's it work?
Oh no. I was gonna say, is that a good idea? Should we let him have that?
I hold it like a staff.
as well, it's not so much how it works, it's more a matter of how you treat it. And
Kind of spin it around and do some swinging actions like I'm gonna hit somebody with it.
So allow me to demonstrate for you, please.
Oh yeah.
What was his name again?
I'm gonna watch. How long are the rifles?
Rovwin. Rovwyn. Rovwyn. They're maybe 2.5 feet in length.
So they're almost as tall as I am.
A bit, yeah, close to that.
Okay.
Valev, you watch as Rav kind of goes to his belt, pulls out a leather item of some sort. He taps some powder into the end of the barrel. He then pulls out a metal rod and taps down the powder, drops in the pellet, and then drops some powder into the mechanism. You watch as he holds it to his shoulder and he pivots around and looks down a bit beyond where there's a little bit of open space. And all of you hear this and a black puff of smoke and this loud banging noise kind of goes off. And somewhere about 100 feet away, you watch as a piece of the tree that he was aiming at just explodes. You can see shrapnel of wood and bark kind of tear away from the tree. And then he hands it back to you and he goes, "That is how it works."
Now, was there
Little thing did that.
Very impressive.
Holding up one of the pellets.
recoil?
There was.
Can I pick up one of the pistols and try and mimic the process?
Sure,
Yep,
give me a sleight of hand.
I'm doing the same.
Everybody who wants to grab whatever they want, feel free to write that down.
I want 2 pistols, and I want to grab the whole box
Okay.
of the whole
I got a
barrel
24.
of
Okay.
bullets. I want to grab the whole barrel of bullets.
Well, the
I
whole
mean,
barrel of bullets would
can't
be
grab
about,
it, but-
yeah, that'd be about the size of you. So that would be a lot.
I have a 15 strength.
Well, it's not so much strength as much as just the fact that the barrel's the size of you. It's
Yeah.
a couple 100 pounds.
Okay.
Yes, Valev?
Natural 20 for 24 on my sleight of hand.
Derek and Valev, you seem to take a liking, and it almost comes natural to you.
I rolled a 12.
12?
It appears we are even again.
Arena, you're struggling and kind of fumbling around with the mechanism, trying to figure it out. Kai and Gulshaw, what are you two doing?
I grabbed a pistol just to see.
Okay.
I want to shoot it to get an idea of the range.
Derek, do you want to compete? Do
All
you want to do a
right.
contest? You want to see who could get who do you think you can hit the tree? I bet I can hit the tree.
Okay.
So Derek, you grabbed a rifle?
Yeah, I grabbed a pistol.
Okay, you grabbed a pistol. Valev, you have a rifle. Arena, you
Yeah.
grabbed 2 pistols. Kai, you grabbed a pistol.
Yeah, just one.
Okay. Gulshaw, do you grab anything?
No.
Okay. Max?
His hands are already full when he fights anyway, so.
I can't exactly shoot a gun that good.
The stiff and robotic form of the Sentinel and the kind of voice of Max seems to be some confusion over what to even do with the gun. I mean, Max makes kind of like a gesture with his own finger and a bit of arcanic lightning kind of, and he goes, "No, I'm okay. I'm fine."
Ooh, they actually have pistols in D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
That was
They
cool.
do, and I'm actually pretty good at shooting them, apparently. That's not bad.
So, so, so,
how do you make it make sound?
so you see that metal armature there underneath the assembly. Once you've loaded the weapon, you point and you pull that trigger, basically. And he kind of pushes it slightly away from his face, but be sure to always point down when, holding these. Yeah, that would be advisable.
Okay.
So yes, feel free. The shooting range is just right outside of camp if you'd like to go and utilize it.
There's a whole range?
Oh yeah,
Like with targets?
yeah, me and my men and some of the other ones I'm training are taking advantage of this excess that we've acquired. And
Derek,
Question.
let's go.
So do I need to carry powder and ball bearings separately?
I mean, if you want to be able to reload your gun,
Mm-hmm. That's why I wanted to grab the whole bag of
Really
bullets.
like
I mean,
ammo.
bucket of bullets.
I mean,
we already
how-
have a thing of black
How long
powder.
was
bullets.
it? An action or a bonus action?
so for the mechanical purposes of these weapons, since they are not common or known to any of you, you will have to learn how to use them. Currently, even though if you equip them, you think you're proficient based on your character sheet, in actuality, you are not proficient with them, as you've not
Probably not.
practiced or done anything with them. If you pick up a handful of pellets and put it in a small bag, that is good for 30 rounds of ammunition. A small bag of powder would be required to support that as well. It is a bonus action to reload once you're proficient. Because you're not proficient, it's an
first.
action to reload. So it's an action to reload and an action to fire.
Sounds fair.
So it's a lot more cumbersome for those of you that until you practice with them, and based on
Yep, we just have to practice.
based on
But if you
practicing with
have
them.
2 attacks per action, can we use one for an attack and one for a reload, perhaps, when we're proficient?
It's an action. So once you're
Fine.
proficient, with the pistol or rifle, you can, as long as you have an available bonus action, you can shoot, bonus action reload, and shoot again if you have multiple attacks per action. But if you're not proficient in the use of these weapons, it's a attack action to shoot,
Okay.
and then an action to reload. So as you get better with them, they could potentially be more resourceful. But as it is now, I mean, even the Aarakocra kind of looks and admires your enthusiasm, but kind of looks over at all of you and says, for those of you choosing these weapons, know that many of my men and women that use them, well, it's months to become decent, years to become masters. So just as long as you're practicing them, I mean, it will benefit you. We do have supplies set up at the target range, so you do not necessarily need to use your own resources. We have at least 200 to 300 people training with what me and mine have brought and what these tabaxi have captured as well. You think I would memorize their names, but I have forgotten their names.
Which one? Tabaxis?
Yeah, it's
It's
Looking.
look- Dang it, I had it.
So for the rifle, would it be in D&D Beyond the hunting rifle?
yeah, you could use that one. That's fine.
Because there's a
So-
laser rifle that
Sibyllus
sounds way cooler.
Amion.
Sibyllus.
Just saying.
Sibyllus.
There's an
And
automatic rifle. That
Amion.
sounds like it would be way more fun.
Yeah, Sylvanas.
Is it the Exandria pistol,
Give him an automatic anything.
No.
or is
please.
it the regular pistol in
Just-
D&D Beyond? Because
just-
there's a regular pistol and there's an Exandria
just
pistol.
the regular pistol?
Hunting rifle. Here we go. 2d10.
The hand pistol bullets, I believe.
I didn't take a-
That was
would
1d10.
A hand pistol is 1d10.
Yeah.
Dang.
Mhm.
Oh, this is exciting. Ammunition, firearms, range, reload, two-handed.
You watch as the Aarakocra leans down into another open crate and pulls out what looks to be a very battered and damaged version of the rifle, sets it on a table nearby. Now, if it jams or misfires, it can often do this. It is possible that it could blow up literally in your face, or the armature mechanism can just get stuck and make it useless until you can repair it. They have some advantages and disadvantages, so be mindful. Get to know the mechanisms, get to know the mechanics of the gear, and be safe.
It's a good thing we have somebody here who's good with tools.
Don't worry, Derek. If it breaks, I'll get it for you.
I think I'm gonna go across the other side of the bridge.
Okay, you guys watch as Gulshaw just kind of wanders off and meanders in the
having
direction of the bridge construction site.
Before Gulshaw goes, I wanted to ask him a question. If he knew anybody in his caravan that specialized in selling materials for spectral entities of any kind.
Gulshaw, give me a history check.
You guys deal with ancient weird shit sometimes.
History. Don't know much about history. 19.
Cousin Faraj definitely deals in some more of the necrotic and undead machinations of the world. He's almost kind of like a tribal shaman to a certain extent of the group, using a combination of natural understanding of life and its death. You don't know if he'll have anything that Derek particularly needs, but Faraj would be the one that Derek would eventually want to talk to. But you also know that your family will probably be leaving sometime this afternoon once all their wagons and everything have been unloaded.
Speak with my cousin Faraj. He might have something.
Okay, and which one of the Tabaxian places here? Amon or Sylvanus?
Aman is here. Sabanas is here as well. Aman and Sabanas both led you guys over into this section of the campsite where you're kind of setting up camp. Aman, she is kind of more conversational with all of you and pointing out to all the items. Her twin brother, Sabanas, is kind of off to the side, just kind of watching everything. And there are individuals just kind of standing around, murmuring, talking to each other. The pavilion containing Lord Silverhand is busy being, fitted out and kitted out. It's now the beginnings of morning. Dawn is approaching. The camp is very busy. Gulshaw, you kind of pick up on all this after you finish your conversation with Derek.
All right. I want to use my rug to go across to the other side.
Okay. Pull it out. Hey, Hitch and Bows, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. You pull out the magic carpet. You kind of invoke the incantation. You quickly get on it, and it immediately begins.
Shaw, do you want company or okay?
Amon,
This is all why you guys are getting off on your rifles.
You watch as Amon
technology.
you watch as Amon watches Gulshaw and just, I must say, things have become very interesting indeed.
Amon,
Yeah,
I
that's
wanted
what
to ask
happens when
you
you reach
the
level
same
11.
thing, except with Prosper's caravan.
Level what?
What?
I do not
What?
believe my captain. We do not normally deal in the idea of the dead, or as you describe them, the undead. We mostly deal in traditional items of merchant and trade, foodstuff, exotics, pets, and the like. I do not believe anyone in our tribe is necessarily skilled in what you require.
Not necessarily skill, more like materials, things of
We
nature
do.
that might be able to deal with them.
We do have a few that trade in alchemy and exotic goods that could help. Perhaps they have something yet you might need. I don't know.
Okay, I'll have to go see.
They are. Our main caravan is set up on the opposite side of the construction site where we trade and gather goods. And I believe Phosphor wishes to depart in 2 days to make a final delivery to the local communities of Whist and deliver the goods as quickly as possible. And then our plan is to traverse the Maw Bridge and make our way into the greater plains of the Midlands now that we have access to entire new populations of individuals.
Okay, since Gulshaw's cousin's leaving, I'm gonna throw my pistol in my pack with the stuff for it, and I'm gonna go see him since they're probably gonna be leaving in the afternoon.
Okay, give me an investigation check. We'll see if you can track them down.
All right. Okay, got a dirty 20.
Yeah, you spend part of the morning. You eventually track them down as you have now wandered away from everybody else. Gulshaw has headed off over to the other side of the bridge. Derek is wandering about looking for Faraj, Gulshaw's cousin. Leaving Kai, Arena, Max, and Valev still in the campsite. What are you guys doing at this point? You're muted, Ches.
I want to go to the range.
Okay, so you grab your rifle excitedly and you start making your way towards where the shooting range is.
Anyone coming?
Too.
I
Yes, I'll go.
Okay.
I will. Well, I want to make sure that the that barrel of bullets gets into our wagon, and then I want to go to the range too.
Okay. Kai and Max, what are you two doing?
I'm going to the range.
Okay. Max, what would you like to do?
I'm just gonna watch.
Okay, so the 4 of you head off to the range. 3 of you with the intent of possibly practicing. Max taking an interest in what's going on. Derek, you're wandering the greater portion of the camp, trying to find Faraj. Gulsha, you make your way over to the other side of the Maw Chasm Bridge. For you, Gulsha, flying over the bridge is interesting. You can see where some of the last bits of construction are taking place. You can also see where a very large kind of like podium and event stage on the other side is being built. You can see great masses, teeming masses of organized chaos, as you best could put it. The idea that here are a lot of individuals camped and set up in such a way that they're organized. It's just very rough and very kind of refugee kind of look to it, right? You can see where soup kitchen wagons are being used to feed the masses. You could tell that Silverhand has already taken some preliminary precautions on this side, established little outposts of Crown's Guard support. And the way it's kind of just spread out, it's almost like it makes up its own large town, just very much, hodgepodge and orderly, but just very much all tents and people just trying to make do with what they have. But at the very edge of the chasm where the bridge connects to this side, this is where you see the podium and the event and the stage and big pavilions being established, very colorful. You can see where kind of like fair, like almost like carnival-like atmosphere is being designed and purposely built. You can see giant tents, colorful tents. You can see where animals are penned up and being trained by individuals that just don't look familiar to you at all. You can see crowds of people milling about, watching all this activity. It's at this point you begin to realize most of the crowd is now staring at you as you're kind of circling above this landscape and kind of taking all of this in. What would you like to do?
I want to land over at the podium.
Kind of the carpet comes to a rest near the stage and podium area. The construction workers kind of take a brief pause. There's a couple of Silverhand's Crown's guards that kind of turn to look and move towards you, but they instantly recognize you and kind of nod in your direction. Oh, sorry, sir, we didn't see you there. Not used to people just popping out of the sky like that. And they kind of turn away and drift back to what they were doing, and eventually the sound of construction kind of comes back.
Is there many armed people, or does it all look like poor farmer refugees?
Give me a perception check.
15 plus perception. 19.
19.
Many armed people.
Everybody has arms, from what you can tell. Some have
Only
legs and feet.
Well,
Go on, I had to feed.
don't let her influence you.
Can't help it. I can't help it. It's the ears. It's the ears.
Hey, I like my ears.
She even did the paw thing right. Looking about, it's a mixed assortment of individuals. You can see the occasional goblin worker kind of taking equipment to and fro. One of the soup kitchens looks familiar to you. It's one of the kind of like Silverhand soup kitchens that he's been designing through Unther and the relationship with the Sunrise Chapel, which probably tells you that maybe some of his followers and students and acolytes might be here somewhere about as well. Many are armed with like dagger, sword, but in like a casual way, not in any kind of malicious way. They seem to be armed for protection more so than profession. There are the occasionally kind of swarthy, more sophisticated looking, heavily armed individual that almost looks mercenary in appearance. You can see where rather large hobgoblin and another individual that you've not seen before. They're very tall, maybe roughly a little over 7 feet tall, bald head, gray, palish kind of skin, wearing very simple leathers, carrying a very large two-handed sword on their back. Seem to be having a conversation with the heavily armored and weapon festooned hobgoblin. And it's their facial appearance is quite amazing. The tattoos cover their face, their bald head. You can see that they have huge biceps, very heavily muscled, and very tall individuals. You believe this might be a Goliath. You've heard some musings and understanding that the central plains that lead out in the direction of the greater Midlands and eventually into the far reaches of the far east and the routes that will take you up north towards a legendary land called the Land of Fae, that in between that space are these vast open grasslands where these individuals known as Goliaths will often range within their tribal communities. There's just quite, and for a lot of the people that you see here, they're just very, dressed as if they've come to the very conclusion of a very long journey. Some look like they've been here longer than others. Others look like they're new arrivals. It's just a very large encampment of a lot of very interesting looking individuals.
I'll go talk to the Goliath because
Okay.
I'm pretty tall, so
You can hold your own, that's for sure.
I can hold my own.
So you're going to head over and chat with that individual.
I used to carry a sword, so...
Derek, wandering around the camp, you eventually track down Faraj. He is currently unloading 2 wagons into a series of storage tents near one of the other construction sites that's located near here. Taking in this area, this seems to be more of an area where they store a lot of the stuff that they're using to do the reconstruction of the bridge. There's great piles of lumber and rope and chain and everything imaginable that you could need for a construction site. Faraj is currently taking off crates, putting them into the tent, and he's guiding others to do the same.
Pardon me, are you Faraj, Golshah's cousin?
Ah, yes, I am Faraj. What is it I can do for you?
Golshah said you were the one to speak to about things involving undead and some sort. We encountered something on the road here, and I was looking to find some materials to help with dealing with it.
Well, most of undead that I deal with are things of, well, mostly superstition. What is it that you saw, if I might ask?
It was clear, blue. It froze everything around it and would suck the life out of it when it of anything near it when it screamed.
When it screamed, you said it screamed.
Yeah.
Would you describe it as a wail or as a anguished scream?
Both.
Both. Interesting. Here, come with me. And the two of you walk over to where his wagon, his Vargo kind of is, and he pulls down the ladder and he instantly walks up into it. You can hear him rummaging around, and he comes out and he's holding a book. And he's like thumbing through the book, and if the evidence that you have given me is correct, I would describe this as a specter, or there are ancient lore that me and my people keep tabs on. We also call them banshees, great lost and fractured souls that wander the wastes. They are very rare to come across. I would not advise dealing with these things. They are incredibly dangerous. From what I know, they are difficult to deal with. They can do great harm to your physical nature, as well
I'm well aware
as...
of that.
Yes.
I suffered from a curse inflicted by it.
A curse. Interesting. I'm not aware that they would have such power, but things change out in the wilds. It's possible you encountered something that was like a specter or banshee, but it would seem that you survived it, however.
Yes, I have some specialized individuals in my party. They were able to break the curse on me and heal me, but it almost took my life.
Unfortunately, the only advisement I can give you is, Derek, is to do your best to avoid them whenever possible. If you have members of your party that endeavor in the skills of, well, there's not too many that exist other than Unther that I know of and my own cousin Gulshah. If you know of people of a religious nature who have specialized skills in dealing with undead entities, otherwise dealing with specters and banshees and these greater undead forms, these are not easy things to deal with. I would always recommend avoidance.
Avoidance might not be possible, especially with the road opening up. It was fairly close by the route coming
Well,
here.
these creatures are usually known to be attached to something. Either a former form of themselves, a location, an item. If you found this one wandering near the main routes here in the edge of the forest, perhaps there is something that it is attached to out in that forest.
I might have to go see. Do you have anything that blocks out sound?
He looks at you and looks around. He reaches into his pockets and pulls out big wads of cotton and hands them to you.
I guess this will have to do. Thank you.
Of course. A friend of Gulshah's is a cousin of mine.
Cool. And I'm gonna go to Frostfur's caravan to see about those alchemists and exotic goods.
So Kai, Arena, Max, and Valev, as you draw near, you leave the main campsite and you wander through the construction site and the busy activity that's swirling around you. You can occasionally hear pa, 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 pa. And you kind of come around another section of the camp, and here, set up about 100 feet in width, there's some barrels and crates. You can see a couple Crown's Guard, a couple of the Arakokan. You can see a goblin, an orc, and a couple of the other humanoid types, just all kind of in this area. They're either loading or fiddling with these guns and pistols, but in a safe way. They're as you guys all get closer, you're watching them putting the and you watch as a couple of them are pistol shooting. They go over, they clean out their weapon, and they take some powder and pellets out of one of the. You even hear one of the half orc individuals going, "Now, if this don't even the odds, ain't fucking nothing gonna even the odds." And then you can hear the guards kind of chuckle and kind of agree with them. Seems to be a bit of an upbeat kind of spirit running through this place. With the arrival of Silverhand, with the arrival of your team, which is known, you guys are known to this area. With these newfound weapons, some of these newfound relationships that have been struck up with some of the folks on the other side, a lot of conversation. Your passive would be high enough that you're picking up on are people, they're in good spirits. They feel like the recent activities, negative activities over the past couple weeks are now being offset by certain fortunes that are kind of in their favor for once. And this is making a bit of a difference to the overall morale of the camp and the overall morale of everything. There's also a sense of revelry, a sense of kind of celebration in the air, as everybody knows that this 2, 3, almost 4 week long project that Silverhand's been promoting is coming to a close finally, and that these vast areas are going to be opened up both to the Whist and the Kingdom of Bith, as well as all these new potential individuals. There are the occasional murmurs and chatters about raiders and mercenaries and slaver caravans and stuff like that kind of percolate as you're walking through the encampment. But all of you come up to the shooting range. A familiar Arakokan is standing there as he's come along with you as well. He points over to the crates and the barrels. Says, "Please, feel free. Practice all you need. Harold here will be glad to show you on any insights. I assure you, he is a crack shot with these rifles. It is the strangest thing to see a 2.5 foot tall goblin holding one of these rifles. But as he scrambles up onto a box and then lays it down onto an X formation of metal, like these two metal rods that have been placed together, you watch as the very long front of the rifle is placed on it. At about 300 feet down range of the target range, and then shwack, there's a pop and a like an explosion from the end, and then you watch as the pumpkin just explodes from the shot, and you watch as Rove kind of goes over and puts his hand on the goblin's shoulder. Sharptooth, could you maybe show these folks how these things work? Yeah, I'm happy to. Rove, I love these things. These things are great. Kind of like plays with his nose a little bit.
Hi, Sharptooth. I'm Belev.
Oh, aren't you pretty?
I am Kai.
Lady Silverhand. We know who you are.
Arena.
No, I don't fight in those, but thank you.
No, that's her name.
That's my name.
And you watch as he kind of cautiously gets off the box. He leaves the rifle behind, walks through all of you, and his goblin appearance is very kind of stooped over, and he starts poking at Max's statue. What?
He talks.
We've never seen. What is this? We don't
That's
know.
Max.
What's a Max? And he kind of
That's his name. His name is Max.
I'm not moving. I'm not speaking. I'm just looking out in the distance.
Careful, he might step on you.
But what? We've never seen this before. What is this? What is this?
Well, his name is Max.
Is it magical? Do you do things with it?
No, but he can do things.
We don't understand why
own.
you call it a he. It's just a statue, isn't it?
When he looks up at me, I want to quickly tilt my head down and look at him.
You watch as the goblin turns, runs, and just barrels backwards behind a crate. And
I tried to warn you.
dark magic, that is. You can see where Rove has got his hand over his mouth, kind of laughing.
No, his name is
Max.
Oh, well, he kind of crawls out from behind the box.
And this is Ghost.
We didn't mean no disrespect. And he looks at the dog and just keels over unconscious.
It's not a dog.
He faints.
Well, he can't show us what he knows if he's fainted.
I'm gonna go over and
Poke him.
slap his little face.
You poke him.
Kind of gets...
Well, I want him to see the pretty thing that he saw when he I don't want him to be scared by the dire wolf.
Okay.
We didn't know they could be pets. Normally they eat us. We try to avoid those.
Oh no!
As long as you're nice to me,
really
he won't
nice.
eat you.
Watch this, and I'll go over and I'll start scratching Ghost's belly on his side to see if I can get him to do the leg thing.
Ghost, do the leg thing. Do the leg thing.
See? He's really nice.
Oh, well, we can accept that. How can we help you?
I hold up the guns, not pointing
what-
them at him.
Yeah.
Not
Oh.
like,
Shoot.
I want to shoot them.
Okay, well, come on over here and I'll show you how to shoot them. And he keeps
Okay.
eyeing the statue like very suspiciously and kind of half paying attention to you and half concerned about the statues. But
It won't bite.
it's
mean,
not. I don't think it's the biting that concerns me. I mean, it's a curse, right? He's cursed. Is he cursed?
No.
No, he's not cursed.
Well, I mean,
I
maybe
mean,
it's
I
kind
don't
of.
think so.
I'm not really sure
I'm not
how
sure
the mask
how
works.
that worked. No.
Well,
Mm.
okay. You all seem as confused as me, so we'll just use that as a. Okay, very well. Well, anyways,
Fair.
He's nice and he's our friend, so
Yeah, we didn't,
Not that
pry
confusing.
into it.
well,
we take care of
anyways,
each other.
so here's how these work. You see these
Yeah.
little metal gears, mechanisms, and these hammers and these triggers and all these things. These are the things that make these guns work. Now, when we pull them apart, we can disassemble, we put them back together again, and then we shoot, and we practice, and we shoot, and we practice, and we shoot.
It'll be
I-
fun to learn how to take apart, come back
Yeah,
together.
yeah. That's the important part. Because, see, one of the things I've noticed with these things, as they get worse, we notice that when you use them a lot, they break down so easy. You have to take them apart. You have to clean them.
Oh, dear.
It's
Oh, dear.
yeah. It's a bit of a hassle,
Belina.
but you get to
Yeah, Valev, that's like when we have you take a
You,
bath.
no, you don't get. You have to give these baths.
You have to.
No,
you
not
have
in
to make sure
water.
they're
You-
clean too.
You want to clean them with oil, not with water. They'll rust.
You want to give him an oil bath?
Well,
We think you are
Yeah.
strange, but yeah, not. Why do you call it a bath?
You
It
said
would be
wash
like what I
them.
do with Dax.
Yeah, but he seems very confused. He's looking at the gears. He's looking at you.
okay. Can you show us how to clean them too?
Yes, I could do that. So we'll
Okay.
say for the next hour or so, he's showing you how to disassemble everything, showing
No,
you
disassemble Johnny 5.
showing you how to like load, how the powder, how it all works, right? For the next hour, this is going on. So, Kai, Arena, Max, and Valev, give me intelligence checks, please.
Oh, come on. Every time I take that as a personal attack, Jason.
I got a
Funny.
21.
Come
I got a
on.
21.
Let's go, Kai, with your
Nice.
natural 20.
I got
Jeez.
21.
No.
With like what, a 30 modifier?
Yeah,
30,
because
20.
I got a 21. 19 plus
23.
2.
23 for
Yeah.
Max. What'd you get
What
there,
was
It
it?
wasn't
Valev?
that 20, or it would have been a 25.
What was it? An intelligence saving throw or a check?
Check.
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 Dang it, because I was. It's only a 16, but if it's a check, I have -1. If it was a saving throw, I have +3 to it. So
So 15. I mean,
Yeah.
during this hour, you guys don't necessarily learn proficiency, but I will.
I have to be honest. I'm much better with like watching somebody do it and then repeating it, not just like looking at it and figuring it out.
And I'll say for you, Max, for Max and Kai, the two of you kind of absorb the instruction rather quickly and pick up on the mechanic nature of it and the overall intent of these weapons, and it makes sense. For you, Max, and for you, Kai, there's even some magical embellishment you think that could possibly benefit these things, and that already your kind of inner monologue
Yeah.
and gears are kind of churning with that understanding. Arena, your pistol is more like a shotgun in your hand, so your pistol for you is more of like a two-handed weapon. I mean, it'll require you to hold it, like this. Valev, the rifle has a natural feel. Definitely, it has that natural feel that, you use it as a club, but, picking it up and looking down, aim, and all of you begin to practice firing and shooting at the different targets and everything that's going on. I'll say because...
So let me get this right. The front end that makes the sound that it shoots out of is like the end of a sword. It's like the pointy end. You keep that away from people unless like you threaten them and you're trying to like hurt them. So you point it down
Yeah.
And what? And then you said there was another rule about like keeping your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Okay,
those
good.
things.
Smart.
Dan goes into the bad guy.
Pointy end goes into the back.
Yes.
But it's not really pointy because
But it's not really pointy
Yeah, it's just.
because it's like a ball.
But what if you like put a dagger at the end of it and like wrapped it around, and then it was pointy?
Well, it
you
would.
could do that.
Well, then it would be
Yeah.
a spear.
Yeah, and then you
Can we
could
make
get
it
close and you could
fire a
stab
dagger?
things.
Can we make it fire a dagger?
Can it fire daggers?
I don't.
so cool.
Rove, are you sure we should be letting them play with these things? They seem a
Trying
bit
to
crazy.
shotgun the advancement of firearms.
I think it's going to be Velev of the 9 fingers pretty soon.
Velev of the one eye.
Yeah.
You don't want a BB gun, you'll shoot out your
Velev of
eye.
the parted hair.
The lev of the 8 toes.
Shoot your eye out.
So you guys spend the next hour or so doing this. I'll say this much. If the 4 of you commit yourself to the shooting range for the bulk of the morning, it'll give you enough understanding of how things work that when you do use them, they'll be at normal use and not disadvantage. You'll still be under the same risk of misfire and jammings and failures of the equipment.
Okay.
It's still an action to reload, and it's an action to shoot. So until you become proficient with them, which will take many more days of experimentation, but you begin to get the beginnings of the understanding. For Kai, go ahead and give me an insight check really quick.
Insight check. Into the bullets.
Nat 20 for 22.
Nice.
Jeez, all these pocket nat 20s everywhere.
Yeah, except we're probably blowing them right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Later when we use them.
So Kai,
Rolling
go ahead.
sevens.
Yeah,
You
so
guys find a silk scarf with that natural 20. Congratulations. So glad we used it on the shopping episode.
So glad.
Kai, now go ahead and give me a wisdom check with advantage.
A wisdom check.
Natty 20.
Oh, I'm not as good with it.
Okay,
So
okay.
with
Okay.
advantage. Nope, still 5
Oh,
both times.
same
Yeah,
roll.
wisdom is
Yeah.
so bad. Yep, same roll both times.
Yeah, you
I'm not
absorb.
wise. I am just intelligent.
You quickly absorb the understanding of how all the armatures and mechanics kind of work of these things. More importantly, you kind of focus in on the pistol. Unfortunately, as you disassemble it and reassemble it, you kind of get stuck on a couple of the way the method is used, and you're going to need a lot more practice with the mechanic nature of the pistols, but you're beginning to at least get the gist of it. But you guys spend the whole morning over here at this point. Gulsha, you walk up to this rather large-looking individual who's talking to the hobgoblin, and as you get closer and you're like approaching the two of them, I don't really understand why you're always complaining, Schnar. It's just what we do. It's what's expected of us, and I expect it from my men to behave when I ask them to fucking behave. Now go do what you're told. And you watch as the hobgoblin kind of spits on the ground, turns, and makes their way in the opposite direction. The Goliath hears you coming forward, like in his direction. It's rare that I have to look down only so much, but how could I help you?
I haven't met anyone of your kind. I am Gulsha.
Gulsha, that is a name familiar to me and mine. You serve Unta of the Sunrise Chapel, do you not?
Yes.
You serve Lord Silverhand, do you not?
Yes.
I am Vimac. I'm the head of the Firebrand Mercenaries. I, too, serve Silverhand. And then he kind of smiles, and his big teeth kind of peel across his smile. Although, don't tell anybody that, will you? But I think since I'm in friendly company, I can share that with you.
What does he have you doing right now?
Well, he has us doing, what do you call it, security.
How has it been over here?
Well, have you ever tried to get 20 chickens to do the same thing?
Say no more.
Yeah. Only you can't eat these people, which is unfortunate.
Yes.
Well,
So haven't heard of any goings on that you're concerned about?
My scouts picked up some unusual travelers on their way here from a northern direction. We're keeping an eye on them. One of them is, well, according to Lord Silverhand's been seen before, so he's told us to allow them to make their way here. But
Who is it?
well, I don't know if you are familiar, but he looks like a pile of moving rocks.
Oh. Okay.
Evidently, he may be some kind of, what's the word, ambassador or noble or royalty from the far north. I don't know. Me and mine noticed them. We reported it. We keep an eye on them. They are on their way here, though. We expect them to be here this evening.
All right.
What about you and yours? I mean, I gotta admit, if that was you on that fly thing, that's pretty fucking cool, yeah?
It is wondrous. Yes.
I mean, I've never seen magics like that in a very, well, to be honest with you, we don't ever see magics like that out here in the waste.
Yes. And how far have you come?
Pretty far. I gathered my men. I think we're about 30 strong now. We used to be more, but it's dangerous out there. Got wind of a place called Whist. Got wind of an individual by the name of Lord Silverhand that was attempting to reestablish connections with this place. Well, if anybody's brave enough to tuck into this shit, I'll throw in with him.
Yeah, he's a good man. He's a good man to back, and he'll back you.
Yeah. He pays well. Food in the belly, gold in the purse. I can't think of a better way to make the day. Although hunting on the plains and chasing down high drifting raptors and if you've ever eaten them big old rams that wander around out there, holy shit, are they tasty. Big old mutton chops.
I've heard they are. I've been thinking they are delicious. I've been looking at them, and you get a lot of legs. For the
they got
kill,
6 of them legs.
6 legs. I mean,
Lev senses a disturbance in the force, and his friend rams.
that's hard to pass
I mean,
up, you know.
We do try to stay away from the ones that the plain orcs use. We keep them in proper, arm's length, and we've got good relations with them. It's the wild ones that we go after.
Yeah. Yes, we've had.
Hey, Melly, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it.
All right,
But I gotta tell you, this is the closest thing to civilization that me and mine have seen since the collapse. So I gotta tell you, it's reassuring, and it's, well, I worry about the kind of attention this kind of attracts.
See, you're like everyone else. I too feel that there's
Thanks, Big Mac.
force working against us and against what Lord Silverhand's trying to do, and I think everyone is being lulled into a false sense of security.
Well, it's not so much the false sense of security. I mean, there's not been a lot of security around here. I mean, even Lord Silverhand has the sense of a man to to hire people like me to keep an eye on things. He knows he's got constraints and limits. That I can appreciate. It's the things you don't see. Now I know those slavers are out there. We've dealt with them. I've seen all manner of people out there in the wilds, desperate people. Raiders, dealt with them as well. Heck, for all I know, people might call us a raider. Couldn't tell you. But my understanding and his intent are clear. But it's always that cold shadow you don't see that concerns me. I prefer everything be out in the open.
I find that most things aren't out in the open. That's the problem.
Secrets.
Keep on your toes and...
Why? Is there something wrong with me toes?
It means to keep an eye out.
Well, you could just say that. It's a lot easier to understand.
I'm sorry, I'm not used to the way people speak in this area.
Oh, you mean clearly? I'm just messing with you, mate. It's good to meet you. Tell Unther that Vimax says hi.
I will. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
All right, and I go back.
So where are you heading off to, Gulshaw, after this conversation of the giants?
I'm gonna go back to our side.
Okay. So you clamber up onto the carpet and take off back to the other side. Derek, you meander through a couple of different areas of the encampment, and you wander off to a section that looks somewhat familiar to you. You do remember a time, the last time Frostfur's caravan was on the outskirts of Whist, and those familiar, very gaudy colored wagons are set up for their normal trading activity. You can see that there are a variety of tabaxi as the Frostfur clan has set up here, and everything is established here. You can see already that wares are being traded. There's a hustle and bustle here. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. Let's see who you can track down.
All right. I know because I've ran into the herbalist once because I had to take his supplies to Vert, and the only other one I think I know is the pudgy one that was the food vendor. I got a 9.
A 9. You do not recognize anybody per se. There is at least one tabaxi working from a wagon that seems to be heavily has a lot of like herbs and other like very like exotic items hanging from the wagon. You can see small birds and creatures in cages. You can see little leather bowls filled with different exotic eggs. You can see small ceramic vials are placed out on tables. It doesn't necessarily look like the one you've seen before, but you recognize that it may potentially have ingredients or items or objects that you might find interesting.
Yeah, I'll approach, and if they don't have what I'm looking for, I'm sure I can just ask them where to go.
Fair enough. Walking over, the kind of young-looking tabaxi, very much a gray, white, and black kind of stripe mottled fur. What can I do for you?
Yes, I was trying to look for some materials or objects that may help with the hunting of ghost.
Ghost. I believe the best way to hunt them is not to avoid them. They are not things you should trifle with, but if you feel compelled, I don't necessarily...
He just said the best way to hunt them is to avoid them. I think the best thing you should do is not.
Hint, big hint.
I know
That's not the character. That's not the
hint, but
NPC telling him like, bro, you should just like not. That's
Just,
Jason
like,
saying,
not
don't do
hunt
this.
Give me a
No.
give me a persuasion check really quick, Derek.
Insight check the DM.
Yeah.
All right, persuaded. No, I got the hint a while ago, but I mean, it's best to be prepared, especially since we know we're going to go up against undead at some point.
I don't
Cotton
know.
in our ears.
We have cotton in our ears. Undead, banshee.
Persuasion, right? All right.
Great.
See.
Great.
Okay,
Solid
that's
plan.
good. I got a 25.
25. He kind of looks about his table and wares and he goes, maybe not something you should use for hunting, but I think it is something that can help you in the process of perhaps identifying these things, or at least finding out what they are bound to. And you watch as he kind of like pulls a wooden crate from underneath one of the tables. He opens it. Some gear comes flying out as, you see like a scarf and a rabbit, and you see a hat, and things come out of a wooden crate. And he reaches down and he pulls out like a very small glass kind of orb and goes, don't really know why this works. I am not a student of magics. I don't know. But I have noticed that whenever you hold this up in the dark, it will reveal things to you.
It glows blue when orcs are near.
I don't know anything about that. That sounds like copyright to me. But anyways.
Are you sure you're not in a Spencer's or like a Party City? Because he said he opened a chest and a hat came out, a rabbit, a bunch of scarves. Like, who is this guy?
It's like a small crystal ball or like a small sphere thing or something?
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, it's a small glass orb. In the very center of it, you can see like what looks like a dark onyx kind of recessed stone. It's light out right now. My understanding, the way it's worked and the way we've experimented with it, if you're in a very dark space and you pull this out, it is supposed to reveal things of the nature that you described. Now, I've never gotten it to work. The old lady that I bought it from seemed very insistent that it worked that way, but I'm happy to part with it for 100 gold for you. It allows me to make a little bit of profit, if you don't mind.
Not at all. Yeah, I'll pay the 100 for it just because I don't see why not.
And remember, certain magics, they can be chaotic. So perhaps I am just not a master and crafter of said magics, but a couple times while experimenting with it, it did weird things. So be aware, it could be of a time when magics were normal. And we all know how magics are now. Magics are quite, dangerous. But yes.
Do you have anyone do you know where I can find someone who sells alchemy ingredients?
She has left a week ago back to the Chultian desert. She, while traveling with our clan, is not necessarily a member of the Phosphor clan. She goes her own way. Currently, we have no one selling the vestiges of alchemy, as you call that. We have food.
Okay.
We have exotics. We have building materials. We have other items that we can certainly sell you.
No, I'm good, thank you. Just this will do then.
Well, be careful. She hands it to you, kind of wrapped in like a silken cloth, and gives it to you. You exchange the 100 gold, and
And then Derek turns into David Bowie from The Labyrinth.
The goblin.
Yeah. With that finished, and since I got all the info I could find, I guess I'll head back to test out my new toy.
All right, so you begin your journey back. So for all of you, the morning turns into afternoon. For those at the shooting range, you practice all morning long. Shoulders are sore. the occasional misfire and having to learn how to pull things apart and repair them. You're quite also, you notice you're covered heavily with like a sooty kind of residue from the powder, and all of you have kind of a weird kind of sulfury smell on your bodies now from being at the target range all day.
I like it.
Eventually, Rove comes back to where all of you were doing target practice, and well, perhaps we could all share a lunch and talk about many things, if you're okay with this.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Good.
I could eat something.
And it's at this point you guys watch as Derek and Gulshaw appear at the target range. Derek, you wander over from the other side of camp. Gulshaw, you kind of settle in front of everybody. You wrap up the carpet, put it back in the case that you carry along your back, strapped on your back. All of you are back together again, and Rove is now leading you towards another section of the construction site. And I keep calling them sections because the main map I'm building for you is not done yet. I'm still building it. I got sidetracked by some activity and some things that were going on, so I haven't quite finished it yet.
Side quests. You had side quests.
Yes, real life side quests. It happens.
Real life
it's a
side
real
quests.
thing. And he leads you towards a very large common area of the grounds. And here there are a string of wagons, like chef cooking stations, and a hodgepodge of open air areas where people can just grab food from one of the wagons, sit down, eat, gather themselves, and make their way back into whatever it is that they're doing for the day. And you're watching as groups of people are doing this. And once again, the air here is upbeat. The morale is good. People have food. They have a purpose. Everything that Tamlin and Vert kind of have expressed over the intent of what they're trying to accomplish here is kind of playing out as well. All of you are free to grab whatever food you want. You watch as Rove goes over to one wagon, picks up a rather large bowl of soup, heads over to a table that has enough seating for all of you to join him. In his strange kind of Aarakocran way, he sits down, ruffles out his feathers, and kind of squats on a rather large chair awkwardly, begins to use a series of utensils.
Is there anything that looks like it'd be appropriate for Ghost to eat?
Give me a perception check.
Might as well do that for Dudley too.
Okay.
Oh, I got a 19 plus 2, 21.
Yep. What'd you get for Dudley?
25.
Yeah, there's a butcher's wagon set up here that's doing all manner of processing of beef and sheep and goat and chicken and fish. There's big barrels filled with offal, the remnants that will be turned into blood pudding. There's hanging shanks of meat and other things. Every now and then, a chef or a cook kind of walks from one of the other wagons and pulls off a large shank and takes it back over to the wagon that they were at.
I am going to collect some food for Ghost and collect some food for me.
Okay.
I'm going to look at Dudley and just say, sit at what you want.
Where would Scorch have gone at this point?
He had mentioned to you that he was going to make his way towards the Jasper mining colony, towards the Broken Tooth Mountain Range, and basically spend the next possibly week free ranging.
Being a dragon.
Yeah, being a dragon and exploring that entire area and going to some of the greater spires near the volcano as well to kind of just take in the landscape. And he did mention to you that he was going to check in on the eggery, the hatchery as well, to make sure that was still contained. Some overall concern about that, but
every 4 hours or so, I'll think really hard and try and send him a message telepathically, even though I can't do that. But he's spoken to me in my head, so I'm just going to assume that he can hear my thoughts anytime. that that I want him to. I don't know how this works. It's magic. So every once in a while, the group will probably just hear me kind of like just talking to myself, be like, "All right, so we got these really cool new things, and one of them's kind of smaller. It's called a pistol, and the other one's bigger. It's called a rifle, and it makes really loud sound. And yeah, I think you're gonna like it when you see it. Okay, see you soon."
No response, but it sounds cool.
He's probably busy. Okay.
Dudley sits at a rather large barrel filled with offal.
I'll ask the butcher what's in it.
Guts?
What did he say?
Guts.
Okay, so he cut out. It wasn't just me.
You watch as the butcher kind of looks at your at Dudley, who's gotten a lot bigger. Huh. He reaches into the barrel and pulls out like a big extended thing of intestine, pork intestine, and just kind of tosses it at Dudley. Dudley catches it midair and just starts, lying down on his paws and just chewing at it.
How much?
Excuse me?
How much for the feet?
Oh, it's fine. You just take what you need.
Sounds good.
So all of you grab food that you want, sit down with Rove. It's now afternoon. Rove looks at all of you, looks at his food. So, what is your plan? What do you intend to do after tomorrow night's celebration?
I just go where everyone else goes. I don't know.
We'll probably end up heading back to Whist before we travel down to Treverton.
If I had to guess, I'd say we'll probably head down to Whist before we go down to Treverton.
Out of character, we needed to look into some caves and stuff down in the Maw Chasm, didn't we? Guys, right? That's why we were coming up here.
Was that? I thought we were just coming up here to.
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, there was getting Silverhand safely to here. There was, helping Gulshaw's family get to here, celebrate with the opening. There was mentioned some time ago by either Vert, I think it was Tamlin, that they had discovered some odd caverns below where they were doing some repair work on the bridge. So that is one possibility.
I pull out the little trinket that I got. So according to the merchant I bought, this is supposed to reveal.
What happened to your light, Chaz? Did it die on you? For a second there, I thought I had glaucoma.
No, I forgot to plug it in. It was running off of its battery power. I forgot I didn't plug the AC cord into it.
I love the look on your face.
Of course, it has to happen midstream.
Always, every time.
Just nah.
It'd be a live stream if something doesn't go wrong.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't call it wrong. But
we're back. We're back. The light's back on.
You guys watch as
I'm the pretty one.
You guys watch as Derek pulls out a very translucent glass orb with a very tiny little black kind of oinks stone in the middle of it. Rove looks at it and goes, "My, what is that?"
According to the merchant I bought, it's something that can reveal the unseen in darkness.
Interesting. Does that mean it casts light, or what does...
Oh, man, does it just cast light?
It's supposed to light up when something's
It's a candle?
around.
Or like a torch?
I could have done that.
You just watch as Arena...
From what I understand, from all the info I gathered about the specter on the road, it might be tethered to something, and that might be an easy way to get rid of it without actually needing to confront it.
So we just go light and it goes away?
No. It's like supposed to show maybe things that are hidden.
With like a flashlight? Like this? Light.
We'd have to wait and see how it reacts.
Or like this, and I
So I
cast
don't know.
create bonfire.
He just said it'd make a blue light when there's something around that's unseen.
Oh, it's blue. Can I do a blue light?
You guys watch as Rove kind of looks amongst all of you.
Oh yeah, it can be colored as you like. Okay. Blue light.
Do you all know each other? You are.
Yeah.
Well,
a little bit.
hopefully. Hopefully it does.
I'm just
That'd be
checking.
cool.
Just checking. He's like spooning
That'd be
his soup into his beak. But anyways, what is your plans? What is your intent?
Well, there's caves down there that there's like funky things in, right?
We have discovered some interesting things during the construction process. We have currently cordoned those off as they are quite dangerous to try to get to. Only me and mine can truly safely get to them.
Well, we want to go.
Okay, maybe?
No?
Well, when you say we, I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm talking to Sharptooth when I hear people say that, but I'm just curious, are all of you genuinely interested in going? I mean...
Oh, we are a party.
Oh,
kind of
you
tales.
certainly
Together.
are a party, that's for sure.
What have you discovered in them so
Well,
far?
They seem to be warrens of some sort. We have found decomposed and fossilized remains of dwarfs. We have also found remains of gnomes as well. It would seem that the warrens go much deeper, though we just do not have the time or the experience of going to such depths. The challenge is, well, the very depth of the chasm itself is, well, some claim that they're bottomless in some areas. Shrouded in noxious fume and cloud, no one's ever actually reached the bottom of the chasm. But about 1,000 feet down, when we were retrieving some felled equipment, we had discovered an entrance. A few of my Arakokian counterparts did some preliminary investigation and reported what they found.
They hear drums.
An entrance to what?
A warren of some sort, caves,
Caves
partially
and
collapsed.
Tunnels.
We just
Okay,
assumed
Mike.
maybe they were old dwarven mines, and dwarfs and gnomes were often said to work together. Although their population has diminished greatly, we do not see too many gnomes anymore. For that matter, we don't see too many dwarves anymore. But it seemed interesting, didn't seem particularly warranted of further investigation, so we just made note of it, told those that were interested. I believe we told one of Silverhand's individuals, and they disseminated the information however they saw fit. But I do not have men or women to waste on such ventures. We are doing our best to have the bridge open by tomorrow morning.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I'd probably like to see if we can deal with that ghost tonight, maybe. I'd need to rest a little bit. Is that okay with everybody else?
How far back was the ghost? The banshee creature?
Probably about 6 hours back in the direction that you came from.
Okay.
By foot. I mean, you could, if you could find other means of travel, especially by carpet, or other flying magical means, getting there would be obviously a lot quicker. But it's now mid-afternoon, finishing your meal and having this conversation.
Wow. I want to check out the caves. Eventually.
Oh no, I want to go too. But if the bridge is going to be open tomorrow, I mean, it'd probably do us better, or it'd probably do the people traveling on it better if we were to get rid of it before then.
Yeah, because if it succeeds in turning anybody else into one of it, that would suck.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and you and Gulshaw
bad,
might have to deal with it specifically.
Fun.
In fact, everybody else was kind of just like, "Don't do it." They were really egregious, like super egregious about it too. Like they insisted. It's almost like something was telling them not to do it.
There might be a problem with that. That creature doesn't like my aura and stays away from me.
Even better, if we can get rid of it without it attacking us, that would be helpful.
This
Might be because it's less of your aura and maybe more of your smell. At least that's what you would tell me.
You want to dispatch it, and it doesn't want to get near me. That's an issue.
this creature that you are thinking of hunting down, what did you call it, Derek? What is it?
I think Gulshaw called it. What did you say it was? A wandering spirit?
Yes.
Interesting. I
My
too have
notes.
heard of such creatures out in the greater world.
A lost soul.
They are normally bound to something. Legend says, or lore, or however you decide to have the conversation. It's said that a item, the remains of the individual or something, usually binds their psychic energy of their essence or their self. Me and mine are very ritualistic when we bury ours. And well, we burn them and we spread them out in the clouds as part of our ritual of saying goodbye to their spirits, and we let them be free. I've heard rumors that some souls, when trapped or cursed or existing between realities, can go mad, and whatever they're bound to, they wander to and fro and move nearby. Perhaps there's something in those woods that this thing was bound to. It did travel to the road, but went no further, correct? It didn't pursue or follow all of you?
I believe it tried to.
It tried to. It turned away.
Interesting. What skill do you possess, Bullshaw, that such a creature would turn away from you?
I'm a paladin of the Raven Queen.
You
He's
invoke.
got a very good personality.
You
Yes.
invoke the name of the Raven Queen. This is a goddess that me and mine have spent our time praying and communing with. We are not sure if she is still there and listening, but perhaps it was.
She is there, and she is listening. I can assure you of that.
Interesting. Maybe if you have time, you can speak to one of our priests and discuss this notion.
I will.
Good. Well, and he's about to say something when all of you look at where he's staring. You see 4 of the Crown's Guard, including 2 of the personal bodyguard of Silverhand, are approaching the table. They seem, your perception rolls aren't required. They seem very nervous and concerned about something. One of the guards, one of the bodyguards comes up to Lady Silverhand, the Kai. Sorry to bother you and your friends, miss, but could we borrow you? We have, well, interesting guests back in your lordship's tent.
Yes, excuse me, everybody. I'll be back.
Oh, I was hoping they could come with you as well.
Oh, would they? Oh,
Oh.
sure they will.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
We'll be back.
everybody, but well, no, I guess everybody could. Everybody make perception checks really quick as you kind of all get up and kind of doff off all your plates and get rid of your food and stuff. Gathering up Dudley and Ghost.
I got a 6.
Okay. Valev.
E20.
Oh, Kai.
I got a nat 20 for 24.
Okay.
Oh,
Why am I wasting
God.
all these rolls on inconsequential BS? I don't know, but
That's another 14 for me.
Okay.
Let me balance the scales with all these 20s and just give you my natural 1 right out the gate.
I got a
But it's a 7 with my perception
I would
modifier.
have rather had a natural 1 because I'm a halfling.
Well,
Yeah,
I
you
am
can
not.
re-roll those.
Max,
maybe it's the rock.
Max, what'd
were
you
you with
get?
us?
Give me a sec.
I'm just assuming this will saw that it's
You
probably the
gotta
rock.
have faith. I love that
They
gift.
talked about.
I got a
Oh, maybe.
16.
16. Kai and Gulshaw, you notice that the guards and the 2 bodyguards are staring quite nervously and a bit hesitantly in Max's direction, which kind of seems odd to you, but all 6 of you kind of get up and begin to go in the direction of the center of the main site, where the large pavilion that is Lord Silverhand's location. As all of you come into the open courtyard area, off to the right, you can see where all your tentage and all of your equipment is, and everything's off to the right. You can see where other tents and people, but there are groups of people just kind of staring at the entrance of Lord Silverhand's tent. Standing in front of the tent is a very large iron statue. It's a solid 15 feet in height.
Iron.
Floating around its head is a purple-like orb that's oscillating and floating around its head. Its eyes kind of narrow and blink of its own accord. It shifts nervously. It crosses its arms as it looks in the direction of where the 6 of you are coming from, including the guards and the bodyguard. You watch as it quickly tilts its head into the tent flap, and then the tent flap quickly opens. The first thing to come out is a rather large, flaming kind of sphere. It's oscillating, orbiting, but giving off no heat, only light. And it kind of comes out. Behind that, for all of you that are familiar with it, is a large rock golem that you remember having an encounter with back in Whist, when it had come and made a treaty and tryst with Silverhand, looking for somebody that was missing. As soon as this rock golem creature comes lumbering out, you then watch as behind him, Lord Silverhand alongside, well, none of you have ever seen anything like this. It's humanoid in appearance, but its very essence is almost like crystalline silicate in nature. Its form is not organic matter. Its form is material or crystal matter. As all of these different things are assembled here, and the huge iron golem trundles over to the side, Lord Silverhand points in the direction where the 6 of you kind of arrive, and the crystalline entity just kind of floats beyond Silverhand, stops in front of the 6 of you, and her gaze, matching her very feminine voice, "Ah, I see that you are here.
The lady wizard.
We have come for you, Rasputin. It's time for you to come home. It's time that we undo what you are." And she is staring directly at Max.
What?
Looking left and right.
Huh. Which one's Rasputin, the statue or Max?
I lean down to Rena. Do you know Rasputin?
Oh, but she's looking at you.
I know it. Oh, for
Is the statue that you're using's name Rasputin?
I don't know. Let me ask him.
Okay.
My dear Maximus Rasputin, you will have no memory of yourself. That has been lost. We can restore that for you, but not here. We must take you home. And then you watch as the Iron Golem lumbers forward. Maximus, it's good to see you. It's good to know that the magic did not alter all of you. And then you watch as the fire-laden orb. Yes, we've been looking for you for some time, Rasputin.
Shit, that thing talks.
Wait, the orb docked?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
I literally have no idea who any of you are.
Well,
But-
perhaps
But
this...
they know your
perha-
name, Max.
Perhaps this will help, Rasputin. And she comes forward and places her fingertips right underneath your chin. And there's a kind of like a popping noise, a sensation of blue, whitish energy that kind of course in tendrils of it course
Don't
over
break
your
him.
mask and over your physical body. You guys watch as an illusion appears. And in that place of the illusion, you see a very tall, long-bearded, long-mustached individual. Deep, dark brown, curly hair. He is wearing red and gray robes of arcanic nature. The greater emblem of the Red Wizards of Thay just kind of like blazed across his chest. This is who you were. This is who we seek to make you again, so that you can restore all of us equally back to who we were. We know the memory and the knowledge is there, Rasputin, but we do not have the ability to get it out here. Back in the wastes of the Anorak Desert is our home. Back there, we can help you. We can restore your form. We can unbind you from the magics that protected you from the disaster and the collapse of the arcane nature of the magics of the world. And possibly you could help us restore the very weave itself, as we've come across some interesting things. And you watch as the rock golem shifts and moves over. I wanted to take this time to thank. And while he's speaking, the red and yellow lava veins of its body are kind of pulsing. You helped us find one of our missing by pointing us in the direction of Turcasta's lair and the mining colony. I was able to retrieve the remains of our friend. Been some time since we have seen each other. But a favor in kind deserves a favor from me. Know this. What goes on at that place? Well, if I had skin, you would see my goosebumps, but I do not. Some of the very horrific nature of what they are doing there is, well, terrifying to say the least. What they are doing to physical people in their possession, creatures in their possession, they are altering them. They are making them things that they should not be. They are using magics from what you call Turcasta's lair in order to create these beings, these creatures. There's one in particular that seems to harbor the magic of the very, well, planes themselves. They open portals and send things through. Things that they've twisted, malformed, corrupted.
Yeah, we might have run into a few of those.
Well, it's
Merkel.
good that this is knowledge that you understand. But for us to effectively survive in our true form, The very nature of the magics that we must utilize to establish ourselves the way we were requires that Maximus travel with us. That Rasputin himself is the only one that can bring us back. It is hidden information, hidden with a purpose and an intent. But, Max, it is good to see you. I'm glad you are safe. The illusion that is Max now shifting uncomfortably, doing human type of responses. You watch as Max's hand goes up to like shift his mask, although there's not a true mask there. It's just the illusion that the silicate entity has created for all of you to understand. And then a few minutes later, the illusion just kind of fades. Max, please, come home with us. We need you.
Thanks.
Gonna look at everyone else.
May I say something?
Go ahead.
When I communed with the Raven Queen, she informed me that Mistra is attempting to reestablish the weave. And I believe this is an integral part of that plan. So if you travel there, you will have my hammer to travel with you.
As much as we might benefit from this knowledge, where we go, no organic being can follow. To go where we are going will undo your physical nature. As you can see, we are not organic. As you can see, looking at Max, he is not organic as well. We are going to a place in between places as part of the magic that is designed to protect us, to protect individuals like Max. Although we're still not entirely sure how he got away from us. There are theories, but that is not important. To travel with us would mean your death for certain.
Will Max be okay once you bring him back to corporeal form if you're going to a place that will undo the living?
Imagine a place where we can safely bring his memory back first. Our hope is to find the chamber that made us, and from within that chamber, reestablish, reform our physical selves, and, do what we can to help. Our predecessors, who we believe caused this great calamity of the weave, they were all expunged, purged, as you might say, by their own undoing. Those of us that saw this coming, and we managed to hide and protect ourselves in these forms, these inorganic forms, combination of our trapped magic and these vessels, protect our essence, our beings of what we are. The knowledge to bring us back was safely stowed away in Rasputin's vessel and form. His mask was meant to be worn by the head of our order that would be restored. Once that mask was applied, the two of them would know how to bring us back, access the chamber, and in that process, hopefully restore the weave. This mention of Mistra is not unknown to us. It's appreciated, but not required. The path we travel is dangerous.
Well, how long will he be gone?
Don't know. Could be a week, could be a year. We don't know how long this could take.
Well, this is Max's decision, and surely he doesn't have to leave right away.
We travel tonight.
I'll just look at him, or look at Max. And what are you gonna do?
Well, if I'm going to be completely honest. They do need help. They're not really in their physical bodies, and you know, restoring the weave is something I've thought about for a long time now.
And getting your body back
Body and memories. Yeah.
and your memories. You
Mm.
don't have to borrow other people's bodies. You'll have your own.
Yep.
No more farmer boys having heart attacks when you come off their face.
Boy.
It's not funny.
Well, if anything, I will be with you in spirit, Max. I do believe this is your destiny.
Thank you, friend.
And you could check in and say hi if you can.
Probably have messages from someone.
I don't know like about destiny or any of that, but
You are my density.
You are my density.
I was building up this beautiful tender moment, and you just come through and like
You know
swipe
what?
it
You know
out
what?
from
I could-
underneath
Sorry.
me like a carpet.
Sorry.
I could
Okay,
tell
rewind.
I could tell you some Callista stories that tracks.
Yeah, it really does.
Well, I don't know about destiny. Just going back, but I know we'll miss you. But you gotta get your memories back, Max, and you have to have but this body's so cool though. I know it's so cool, but it's so cool. You don't have to eat, you don't have to sleep, but I really like eating and I really like sleeping. So
He has missed eating.
I could see how that would be hard. So
Yes.
I think you should do it, but I also think you should come back.
I understand. Just kind of looking back and forth, just kind of thinking.
And I go over and just like give him a hug, and then like
Yeah, it's basically like giving a stone statue a hug.
yeah, and then I'll be this a little like pat.
You get
And
that
then
awkward
I'll go
point.
lay down
yeah.
with Ghost.
You watch as Arena tells Ghost, no, as Ghost lifts up his leg and then puts his leg back down.
It's one of those hugs where you don't realize how hard it is, and you hit your collarbone on it.
Ow. Or your chin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
You watch as the silicate entity kind of drifts past Max and stares at him for a moment and then stops in front of Gulsha. Once it stops in front of you, we appreciate your invocation of Mistra. This is a name that we do not speak of much lately. It harbors both concern and fear amongst us. There are not many of us left. If it's true, the gods are coming back and are reappearing for some purpose or other, we will accept that for what it is. As token of your need and a way to dissuade all of you of your fears of Max returning with us, I will give you this. And you watch as her crystalline hand comes out. You watch as Minia Go, thank you for the follow. You watch as her hand cracks and opens and splits, and like this yellow kind of gem floats to the surface of her hand as she hands it over to you, Gulsha. If for any reason you need our assistance, you can use this to communicate with us. But know this, the magic is limited, the range is limited as well. So try to use it once per day in emergencies. Preferably use it maybe weekly if inclined to do so. But sometimes the magic is, well, faulty. Doesn't quite work in your world of existence as well as it does in ours. So don't be too frustrated if things don't work out quite as well.
Very well. Thank
Magic is still dicey on this plane.
We know. Thank
Well,
you.
Max, have you made your decision, Rasputin? Do you return with us?
If it will help you, then all right.
Well, we give you till this evening, so make whatever preparations and plans that you must. I will finish my conversation with Lord Silverhand before we set off at first evening. Thank you, Max. And she holds her hand to her heart, or where her heart would be if she was a living creature. Her crystalline form kind of drifts back over to the giant, like, flaming sphere, the iron golem, the rock golem, as they all kind of go back in front of Silverhand. Silverhand kind of looks towards Max and the others, and he leans in, says something to the silicate entity. She nods, and her companions kind of disappear back inside the massive tent. Lord Silverhand comes over to where all of you are gathered, crosses his arms, and looks. Well, these are strange times that we are in, aren't they not? Daughter, I will ask you a favor.
Yes, Father.
With your friends in mind, we have spent some time discussing this ghoulish entity, this specter that you have described for us. And we are in agreement with Derek. We feel this is a priority that must be dealt with.
I understand.
Perhaps, if you are so inclined this evening, after we bid farewell to Max, you and yours could set off and try to disseminate or find out whatever this thing is, and be back in time for the revelries and the celebrations that we have planned. I have at least 15 representatives of other communities from the other side that will be meeting with me as part of our grand celebration of reopening of the Maw Chasm Bridge. I definitely do not want any of you to miss this. None of this could have happened without your help, your understanding, your guidance. The Chimera Mercantile and who you all are as a team, as a group, has become very important to all of us. Your future here and your health is necessary. You have done more good than any of you could possibly ever conceive. Valev, the amount of discovery and the information that you've brought back has revealed very many relics and things that have allowed us to find those in need and to help guide those in need to this place. I don't know why I know this, I just know this.
Well, I like to help.
Yes, and
I'm glad I can help. I mean, there are some things that I don't understand a lot of the time, but I know it's good to be helpful.
Yes, Philip, it's good to be helpful.
it's that sense of naive understanding of the world, I think, that keeps your eyes wide open, Valev. I enjoy that
I don't know
about
what
you.
that means, but okay.
Arena, you and Gulshaw and Derek have helped our community greatly. And I look forward to your mastery of organizing Traverton and I also look forward to the opportunity of perhaps you, at some point, having your own minor kingdom to control.
Oh.
Soon, things will become more challenging, more difficult. There will be massive change. The world will change greatly after the bridge is opened. I feel it in my borrowed bones, as you might say. He kind of winks at you with kind of a knowing understanding of what he truly is. But the Chimera Mercantile, the tribes, Gulshaw's family, Phosphor's clan, who I believe has fostered greatly through the understanding and relationship with you and yours of the Chimera, and the eagerness and the protection that you offer my daughter cannot be ignored. Can only but be appreciated. I need all of you to know that you are very much appreciated, and you are an integral part of this community. He shifts over to where Kai is standing. Daughter, you have flourished in a very short period of time. I fear for you, but I feel you can handle yourself. And I see you've taken a pistol.
Yes, I have, Father, and I'm learning a lot about it. I have some fun ideas planned.
Yes, we have commissioned Frostfur to take at least all the remaining armaments that we have gathered up from the captured wagons and the captured individuals that we have gathered about. And we are shipping those all back to Whist with Frostfur's clan, in hopes that that will bolster Captain Brackus's units and give him more additional material and items that we hope he can prosecute his offensive against the Jasper mining colony, although I believe he has not quite proceeded yet. He is waiting for my return once the bridge has been opened and the agreement's been made. I hope you and yours will be a part of this tomorrow when you come back as well. He leans in, kind of gives you a kiss on the forehead. Please, be careful.
Father, I promise.
Good. He shifts away from you and stands in front of Max. I don't know what you are, Max. Hell, I barely understand what I am. But I am absolutely certain, without your involvement, these individuals here would not exist. This team would not exist. Whist would be a very different place, and things would have happened very, very differently. On your journey to the Anorak Desert, if you come across those in need, and you come across those that could use our help, please send them our way. I promised my wife I would restore this kingdom, restore this world as best as I can. It may not be accomplished in my lifetime, but we can only try, and we can only try to be better and do the things that we think will restore the world to a place where we could try again. I know that there are many who feel that the old world is what brought us to this collapse. I am sensitive to this, more so now than before, giving all of you a knowing glance. But go safely, Max. Travel well, and know that you always have a home to come back to if you need one. And I hope you are successful.
Don't forget what's under the rug at the Chimera.
Under the rug at the Chimera.
Big teleportation circle.
Are we in there right now? Are we in the tent or outside the tent?
No, you're out in the commons in the courtyard.
Valev has definitely kicked like scraps of food and like dust bunnies and all kinds of stuff under there.
Under the rug?
Can I talk to you of something that that touches on yourself, Lord?
Yes, Golshaw.
In private.
Ah, understood. Well, come with me then. Thank you all, and Max, good luck.
Thank you.
And he turns and kind of takes Gulshaw with him as Gulshaw and Lord Silverhand disappear into the tent, leaving the four of you near Max. The rest of the area kind of going back to its normal activities, armor being worked on, people having conversations, patrol schedules being made. Very busy activity of a important area of the encampment. What are the four of you doing? 1, 2,
Looking
3,
around
4,
at
5
everyone
of you
being
doing.
important.
I guess I'm gonna go prep the stuff to get ready to leave for late evening,
Okay.
or
Yeah, please.
whenever it is we decide to leave. I'm gonna ask. When do you guys think we should head out?
I might need a nap.
Me too, actually.
And with
Think
it
we're about-
being late afternoon, if you were to take a long rest now and leave in the evening, that would match with the time schedule of getting out there, getting back. And I mean, unfortunately, you guys are all kind of off, kilter a bit because of the
Yeah.
change of schedule and the change from traveling during the night and sleeping during the day. At some point, you'll need to catch up on that to avoid the risk of exhaustion.
Yeah.
And this is kind of
Yeah.
playing havoc on your kind of like daytime routine versus your nighttime routine.
But if I want a 6th level spell and 5th level spells, I need to sleep. I mean, if I want the full use of all of my magic, I need to sleep.
We want to go into any sort of possible confrontation with that creature at our best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely know that. All right, then I'm gonna find a place to rack out then, or I'm gonna head back.
You guys
Well,
all
we
have
have our camp.
you guys have your own tents nearby. You're stationed and bivouacked purposely near Silverhand's main pavilion. All of his officer and leadership cadre nearby. You guys are at the very center of the construction site encampment. The entirety of the construction site encampment is made up of different points of interest, like different areas to maintain it. And then off near the chasm is where the bridge is being, rebuilt. So this is a massive site. You guys watch as Derek
massive.
kind of makes a beeline over to where his tent is. Dudley curls up in front of the tent, and you watch as Derek disappears inside his tent.
Guys, I'm gonna go catch
Kai
some
will
Z's
go to
too.
hers.
Okay. So Kai, you head for your tent. Arena, you head for your tent with Ghost. Max,
don't leave before we say goodbye.
All right.
Okay.
leaving Max and Valev in the center of the courtyard at this point.
Well, I'm gonna sleep outside. I'm gonna take a nap under a tree.
Okay. There's plenty of copses of trees around, single trees, groups of trees that have been left behind as part of when they were harvesting wood and stuff. They didn't take everything. Some things were left behind.
It's nice that they didn't clear cut everything.
You find a tree that has a bit of a patch of springtime grass because we're now in springtime. Winter's faded finally, and the spring temperatures are here. And you just find a nice shady tree to kind of curl up underneath and take your long rest.
Just gonna like start repeating the process of the gun.
Mm-hmm.
So, powder, ball. No. Powder, rod, ball, powder. And then like the breakdown and take apart process and like how to clean is part, trigger, loosen, take that, clean, and then just like slowly just pass out.
Leaving you all by yourself, Max, in the midst of all this activity around you, is there anything you'd like to do before we switch over to Gulshaw?
I'm just gonna go sit and think.
Okay. Gulshaw, you are led inside the pavilion. Lord Silverhand, it's a large tent. I mean, the tent's probably a couple 100 feet in length, 100 feet in width. There's massive bracers and poles holding up the very middle of it. You can see off to one side where the entourage that has come to collect Max is kind of amongst themselves. You can see different scribes and maps on tables. You can see an area where obviously the Council of War might meet to discuss activity. You can see where he probably can sit amongst an area and speak with those. And he kind of brings you over to that area where there's a bunch of like just casual seating and a table with a game board on it and little marble pieces kind of splayed out on the table. And he offers you a seat.
Thank you.
And the two of you sit down across from each other. So, Gulshaw, what is it that requires this private conversation?
Last night on the road, we encountered a spirit.
Yes, I've gotten word from some of my guards and others that were not directly involved, but had some information.
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, I had very close contact with this being, and it's what they call a lost soul, and it's on this plane, and it bears a striking resemblance to you.
He looks somewhat shocked and a little perplexed and leans back in his chair. Striking resemblance to me?
I know that Vert and Tamlin have brought you into this plane to attempt to help on more than one occasion.
He kind of looks over his shoulders, goes, understood.
I can't begin to tell you what type of magic is at foot or what disturbance that made.
Well, my understanding is they used a relic called the Refraction Cube, one that I believe they still possess. They used it as a way to pull versions of me to this period of time, and the only thing they failed at was the ability to stabilize and prevent my death. My understanding was that whatever Arena managed to accomplish successfully made that happen. Unless I miss a step here, I'm not sure, but I am perplexed. You're saying that this entity that you did have contact with looked like me.
Yes.
Interesting. What are your thoughts?
Well, some say these creatures are tied to a specific object or area, and I'm wondering if there's anything in the woods that are close to Woolsville that I don't know, might have some type of family connection or...
It's been some time. I mean, the landscape has changed a lot. My understanding of the area is limited more to the ruins of our former capital city of Pym. I would imagine that would be a more likely place for something like this to be bound if it looks like me. Unless there's something else in the woods that I am unaware of, I have no personal knowledge of that.
I just wanted to make you aware. I don't know. I'd not like to think it was hunting you or something like that, but
Did it seem to act like something that hunts, or?
It sucks the life out of things and
Interesting.
wanders. So I'm not saying it could, but just to err on the side of safety, I felt I should warn you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I will aggregate this information with one of my scribes, and I will say I have a messenger leaving for Whist tonight. I will send this information to Vert and Tamlin. Perhaps it would be pertinent.
Very well. And as to the assault on the mining encampment, how many forces do we have? How many men do we have to do
Well,
that?
after traveling this far, and after seeing the amount of people on the other side, I have managed to convince the Captain Brackus, to hold off on his foray, his endeavor, do some more training, wait for the spring rains to slow down a bit, and then perhaps make his way north and east. I do fear the longer we delay, the stronger they get, and the harder it is for us to catch up to whatever they're doing. But, I mean, after all, we do have a dragon on our side, I think.
I think. He has a mind of his own.
Well, we do have the others that Vert is attempting to manage and communicate with. I've not had much information from him about that, but there are those, and there's always the hope that our friend who saved us from whatever that portal was going to do may return. Don't know.
Well, I'm glad you're holding off on that. I think a coordinated attack would be best.
Well, to be perfectly honest, this has taken quite a bit of my endeavor and energy to deal with these particular circumstances. Now, if I can, these new guns that we've come across and the other ones back in Whist that we're beginning to understand better, it definitely changed the very nature of our options, but God only knows, or gods only know, how many of those they may have themselves. We've been doing some experimentation with that cannon that was discovered, and if they have more of those, well, I fear for ours. But waiting too long gives them an opportunity to come after us, and in order for us to prosper and do better, we must stabilize the countryside. There's just no choice in that. And I'm sure you've seen them all on the other side of the bridge. There are a lot of people that could potentially bolster our numbers as well, but that also means more mouths to feed, more possibility of plague coming back, sickness, disease, and it's very easy to hide in a very large crowd.
True. I went there today to have a look around. I met Vimac,
the head of my firebrand. Good.
Yes. Seemed like a stout young fellow.
7 foot tall, 400 pounds, muscle, meat, and madness. I would agree with that.
So, I think we should go. I think that should be what we should be doing now, is to reconnaissance and find out what's going on over there.
Well, perhaps when you are done taking care of whatever that creature is in the woods, come back, recharge your batteries. I don't know what batteries are, but it sounds cool. Get your sense of self back. Join us in the celebration. And perhaps that would be a good course of action to take. More information would definitely be good to have.
Well, we'll be back. I'll tell you what happens with this spirit if we do make it back. But in any case, good luck with everything. And
two of you stand up almost like at the same time. He holds out his hand.
Yeah, I shake it.
Okay. Keep an eye on my daughter for me. I would appreciate that.
I have been.
Good. So, yeah, recharge your drums is very true. As all of you take your long rest, something Max does not require. Max has become a new form of life. His true inorganic nature is now solidified. There's nothing physical left of the old Max, as much as you sit there pondering your existence, Max, it's almost as if, imagine that kind of like time shift monologue where the sun is going this way and the shadows of activity are going around you. You're slow motion while everybody else is just moving throughout the day and the fast-paced motion of their day where you're just lost in thought. Shards of your past, pieces of memory, pieces of this world that this creature has exposed to you begins to leak in to your understanding. The great vast chamber holding the crystalline entities that have been said to store a certain amount of magic of the weave. And it's the use of that chamber and a series of magical glyphs and wards and other activities that begin to remind you of something that you've done well over 250 years ago to save those around you. You remember it happening, but it's still fractured and it's broken apart and it's different. And it's almost as if the pieces are coming back together around you. Without even realizing, time has moved on. It's now night. You could see where the entourage of inorganic entities have all kind of formed up. One by one, those that make up your friends, all of you now have had a long rest. It's now late evening. All of you exit your tents. See Max there standing amongst those that he's going to travel with. Turns to look at the five of you standing there, kitted out. Your whatever method of transportation you've acquired has been acquired, whether you're going by mount, by foot, or by carpet, or by fly spell. I leave that up to you, but everything you've required is established. This 4-hour journey back into the edge of the Blackwood waiting for you. There Max stands. All of you stand looking at him. The entourage expecting Max to join them. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna hug his leg.
Thank you, small gnome, for all that you've healed me through.
For all those hit points you got back to me.
I come up and put my hand on your shoulder. Safe travels, my friend.
Thank you, grumpy man.
Always.
Kyle come up and put her hand on your arm and say, "It was good meeting you, and I hope that you have safe travels and return to us soon."
Thank you, devil princess. It means a lot.
Thank
Oh, I like that.
I do too. She smiles.
Sounds like a hard rock song in the making.
Good luck on your journey.
Thank you, Forest Guy.
Really?
Forest guy.
It's about all I could think of.
Valev, you've wandered over from your tree where you've taken your long rest, and everybody seems to be saying their goodbyes to Max.
I could say gun nut, but
You guys ready to go?
Yeah, we're just saying goodbye to Max.
And immediately at like the thought of him actually leaving, like Valev's eyes just like well up, and he's just like, you see the gloss over, just like, okay. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, dirty child. I'll see you soon as well.
Dirty child. And all
And
of you can
Valev
sense,
takes it as a compliment.
and all of you can sense a change in Max. A kind of self-realization, a self-understanding of something very major has shifted. That this is important, and that your ability to get him to this point safely almost feels a bit faded and a bit understood as being important as well. This is the memory you have as you watch Max with the other inorganic entities, the rock golem, the iron golem, the fire sphere, and the crystalline entity, all kind of drift along. You can hear them all in their own weird way having a conversation as they're kind of making their way out of the encampment. They make their way through and gone, and you see the receding line of Max, and all of them disappear. You guys mount up, check your kit, begin to ride off in the opposite direction of the evening, heading towards the Blackwood, heading towards the entity, the fractured piece of a Silverhand, perhaps, whatever this thing is. And that's where we're going to finish tonight, as our wonderful Max, my son Aiden, will be taking a break for a while. He has been feeling very overwhelmed with his schedule. He runs you run 2 games yourself, don't you, son?
One right now.
One right now. And hell, he's enjoying his time off from school, playing some WoW, running his own game. He will continue to be in the Tuesday night game, Denizens and Masters. So he will still be not Oswald for as long as he decides to continue playing. But
Not Oswald.
I felt this is a great way to share with everybody that when people come and go from a campaign, it's okay that it happens. It's part of the way you play, right? People always come and go. The original group for this campaign, which was
I was just looking at that.
which was an in-game store group that I was running over 2 years ago, pre-COVID and pre all the disaster that was going on. The only remaining person from that group is actually Derek.
Yeah.
Ivar never really had a chance to even meet with one of those before, we had to shut it down.
Well, we played one.
Yeah, played like
in-store
one
game,
session.
and then
Last
COVID hit.
standing.
And then eventually when I learned through my partner in crime, Callista's insistence and encouragement to do all this online and also be able to share this with everybody, we first shifted it to online, and this campaign lingered for months before I knew what to do with it. And then I've had a wonderful opportunity to meet new people. Meeting Cesare has been a very wonderful thing. Involving my son in my games has been a very wonderful thing. Encouraged by Callista and meeting Jen through our Discord and our shared passion for playing these games, and all the creativity and stuff we do. And then kind of getting back together again with my Squire brother and realizing, his passion for the game from 20, 30 years ago. It's brought us all together and having this fun. We are now officially at the halfway point of this campaign. The Maw Chasm Bridge and the next series of events that's going to transpire. At some point, depending on how things go, there will be a time skip, and there will be some activity based on that time skip. So, I am in the process of putting together an origin series of when we first started playing online, and you can go back a year to look at how they all met and all the activities they were doing, what brought them up to a certain point. I don't know if I'm going to put it on the YouTubes as much as put it on Podbean and Anchor, so keep an eye out for that. I'm playing with some different ways of basically I find it as a great way to kind of learn and do new ways and doing new edits and stuff like that. So for everybody that hung out with us tonight, thank you very much.
Are we going to raid anybody?
Before we go, I wanted to say something.
Yeah, let me see if anybody's on right now, because I know it's kind of late for a lot of the people that I follow, but let me take a look.
What's up, Derek?
Okay, so I don't know if we're playing next month or next week, since it's after the 4th of July or not. So I just want to get this out. This will be, if we are playing next week, that'll be my last session until around August 8th or so, because I will be going on a...
That's right, you'll be on your 30-day. Okay.
Yeah, my 30-day trip.
So we'll do what we did before with you. We will play again next week.
Wait. You'll go into the forest with the nymph or something.
We wonder what it is.
Nymph sex.
We know.
It's gonna work.
Derek's gonna come out with a satyr son in the time skip.
Nymph sex.
Some nymph is gonna come out and show him a satyr son and be like, "Hey,
So for all my Minecraft fans out there, hang out with us for a few. We are going to go on a quick raid here before I say goodbye to everybody. We're going to raid our friends over here at the UST show. They're doing some Minecraft reviews. A smaller creator that I like to support, so we'll be going that way.
Yay raids!
I try to share a lot of things with folks and show some of the things that we got going on. So let's get that put together. So with that, everybody, I always say thank you for coming out, hang out for the raid to earn some points. Stay safe, be kind, and play a game. It's lots of fun. Bye, everybody. Hang out for the raid.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Say good night to everybody. Night all. See you tomorrow night.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
And let me hit.
Valev doesn't do well with goodbyes.
Darn. We're losing our fireball producer. What are we gonna do, man?
I know.
He's like 90% of our spell damage.